Ladies and gentlemen, this is 6 3-minute rounds of boxing in the cruiserweight division. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 6 3-minute rounds of boxing in the cruiserweight division. Introducing to you firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the black clutch shorts trimmed with silver. At the weighing scale, 13 stone, 11 pounds. Tonight, he takes part in his 23rd professional contest, presenting from Doncaster, John Anthony. And opposing him, boxing out of the red corner, wearing his familiar gold-spangled shorts trimmed with red. At the weighing scale, 14 stone, 7 pounds. He has a perfect, unblemished record, 7 contests, 7 wins. 4 of those wins coming by way of knockout, presenting from Blackpool, the undefeated Matty Askin. Timekeeper at the bell is Colin Roberts from Halifax. And the referee in charge of the action is Fleetwood's Steve Gray. 6 3-minute rounds.
Okay, boys, if a call break, you take 1 step back, okay? No punches on the back of the head. Touch gloves. Good luck, boys.
Seconds out, round 1.
Jim and I are liking the look of one of the hottest prospects from the Northwest and maybe the whole of Britain. Blackpool's former ABA champion, Matty Askin, who's won all 7 of his pro fights. Last 2 have come in a round apiece. Assignment number 8 against the sometimes big punching journeyman, John Anthony. Interesting to see how Askin deals with the ox-like Anthony.
Yeah, well, Anthony has taken a couple of decent boxers, decent punchers all the way. So, if Askin can force a stoppage, that will be a bonus. But the main thing is he keeps winning, he's performing well, he's making a little name for himself, he's keeping busy. This is the 4th outing of the year. So doing everything right. So just keep things going as they are. Another good performance, another good victory.
In April, he blew away his hometown rival Matthew Ellis in 1 and then stopped Lee Kellett here in Bolton. Highly rated and just 21 years of age. Anthony 35, 14 years older, and he's also got experience. He's stubborn, resistant, but Askin could be something special.
I think Askin should be thinking about using the jab, but first of all, he's looking for the big right hand, making it a little bit obvious what his intentions are. So, especially in the first round here, he knows Anthony's going to have bags of ambition. So just get the jab thumping out and don't get involved.
Anthony has 5 knockouts in his 7 victories. So Askin needs to be careful, carries that left arm low. But he is quick.
That's better. He's showing a little feint now, you know, thinking his way about. He's kind of winding up the big right hand in the earlier part of the round. This is better, just taking his time. He needs a bit of patience. This is all right.
We've had a good look at Anthony on the circuit, I'm sure. We know that he is fairly durable, only been stopped a couple of times in his 5-year professional career, John Anthony. Is the idea to give Askin rounds?
Yeah, I think so. You know, stoppages obviously are a bonus, good for the confidence. But the main thing is you're performing well, you're getting better with every outing. And he's settling down better now as this round goes. He's going to have to be careful at the beginning of every round. Anthony's going to give it a bit of a go. So he wants to be alert then and just get his own moves working.
Good opening for Matty Askin, threw a nice uppercut in there towards the end of that round, which was impressive. Mike Jackson with the water, assisting Brian Hughes. Brian Hughes keeps attracting this talent, doesn't he?
Yeah, he attracts it and then he nurtures it once he's got it. You know, he's a student of the game, lives for boxing. You know, gives everything, gives 100% and expects that back from his fighters and usually gets it.
4 for 2, Brian Hughes, and a huge Manchester United fan. See round 1 there, the punches 10 to 2 landed from Askin. Good start.
Seconds out, round 2.
The glittering gold and red of Matty Askin from Blackpool, the South Shore district. He's 21 and looking for victory number 8. 4 of his 7 wins have come by knockout, so we know he can punch, and he's looking for the overhand right against John Anthony from Doncaster in fight number 23. Well travelled Anthony, certainly around Britain, and doesn't mind taking on these flashy prospects.
Yeah, well, Askin trying to claim the centre of the ring, which is obviously a good plan against such a strong opponent. So he's trying to keep him on the back foot, or at least give himself plenty of room when Anthony does lunge forward.
We're in at 14-7, Askin. He's got the height and that long reach. The quick jab and right hand. Anthony only 13-11, so a big weight advantage. And you'd have thought in the technical department too for Matty Askin.
Well, Askin's making sure he doesn't take any punches, which is commendable. He's maybe just a little bit out of range with his own shots. There's no great purchase in this round so far, but he's controlling the action, which is the main thing, not allowing Anthony to set much up.
Anthony has lost his last 5, so he may just settle for life as a journeyman these days. He is 35, lost 15 of his 22, but he's better than that. He's been matched hard.
Yeah, he hasn't been done too many favours in his career. You know, boxing tough opponents away from home, and they're pretty much doing that again tonight.
Fans seem to have made the trip from Blackpool to support Matty Askin. I'm told he is getting a rather large following from the town and the surrounding areas. They want to latch onto him early and watch the rise.
Not really much quality in Askin's boxing this round, but that's down to Anthony. You know, he's anticipating a lot of what Askin's done. That was more like it. That was a lovely right-hand shot. That's the one he's been looking for.
Fast, accurate, and it just troubled Anthony for a split second. Always shown a good chin, John Anthony. Might need to through the 6 rounds here tonight.
Well, Anthony hasn't shown a lot of ambition, and that's making it tougher for Askin to shine. But another good round for him.
Matthew, you're not doing the thing that we told you. Sorry, man. You touch him, just prop him with that left jab, and then you can get your combinations in. Do you understand me? Right? You're falling short with your punches because you're not propping him first. You've got to get that jab. Close your eyes.
Well, Brian Hughes has seen what you saw in the early part of the round, that he was falling a bit short.
Yeah.
Not there.
Yeah, he's not taking any punches, but he's not fully committing himself. But that's the right hand. That's the one he was looking for. I mean, he's boxing well. I think he's paying Anthony full respect, and you can't fault that. Things are going well, but the corner expect a little bit more from him.
Look at those punches landed by John Anthony. 1 and 2 makes 3. Even we can add that up. Not great.
Seconds out, round 3.
Here's the third round, as we saw in the statistics. Only 3 punches thrown by John Anthony that have landed in 6 minutes. Let's hope there's some more here.
You just have to be careful you don't fire your fighters up too much. It's all done. You have to be a bit of a psychologist in the corner. Sometimes you have to nurse fighters, sometimes you have to give them a rollicking. So Askin really sprung off the stool there as though he wanted to start some fireworks. That can be a mistake. Just box his way, just gradually raise the pace as the round goes along.
Keeps looking for that big right hand. Matty Askin, the 2008 ABA Cruiserweight champion, calls himself the Assassin. This is good from Askin, and less from Anthony.
And that was a good uppercut. A lot more urgency now. That's what his corner were calling for. Well, they're getting that. And Anthony kind of going into survival mode at the moment.
Finding his range. Quick, sharp attacks again, looking for the uppercut, which is sensible against a fighter that trundles forward, tries to use his strength, Anthony. It's pretty negative, this, though, from John Anthony.
See, the couple of times he's tried to come forward, I think Askin's feet movement just a little bit too quick for him. He can't get into punching range to do anything. And he's not really dealing with the speed of Askin's punches.
Classic case, really, young man on the way up with all the fire and the ambition. And the surviving old pro trying to fiddle his way through. 3 or 4 years ago, there was a possibility that John Anthony might have done something late on in his career, but you can just fall into this category, can't you? Of you know, the losing mentality, picking up paychecks.
Yeah, that was a stumble, yeah, just a stumble. Yeah, well, and then you start taking short notice jobs and stuff like that, your ambition leaves you. But he's just never been able to pin Askin down. I don't think Askin's looking as good tonight as we've seen him in the past. Probably because Anthony's a little bit negative at times. So just little signs of frustration creeping into Askin's work now, because he's not finding the target cleanly.
Occasional cute shot, found a body one. And there's the right again. Anthony huddles in the corner, tries to get his arms in there to defend himself. It's all Askin, this. Not as sweet, as Jim was saying, as we've seen him before.
Kind of like that. If you don't start throwing punches back, referee will stop it. If it comes into attack, you know it's coming in. Just like one go. But just keep trying to punch away, he'll stop it, ref. I know it's hard, it's centric because you look.
Well, they just seem worried that the referee's going to stop it and then he'll be out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, he's not doing an awful lot of work. He's not letting punches go, and if it stops becoming competitive. And that was the good uppercut. That was the best punch
10 seconds,
of the round
corners.
from Askin. But just few signs he's becoming frustrated by the tactics of Anthony. I can sympathise with him, but he's just got to
Seconds
deal
out,
with it.
Round 4.
Second half of this cruiserweight contest. Remember the gold and red of Matty Askin from Blackpool. Lives near the football ground, the Bloomfield Road ground. Blackpool doing okay in the Premiership so far. And Matty Askin doing very well, very nicely, thank you, in his first few professional fights. Turned over in November 2008. Hasn't really been tested yet. Can't really commit himself, Anthony, can he?
No, he's just making it awkward and making it difficult for Askin. He's not really trying to win this. just trying to frustrate the young fighter, and he's making a good job of that. You can see Askin just kind of shaking his head, wanting to stop and start again. He's going to have to commit himself. I think he realises he's not looking as good as he would like to tonight. Well, he's going to have to take the bull by the horns a little bit more.
And enough clean, crisp shots, Matty Askin. This is the most negative we've seen John Anthony in a long time. He was in prize fighter earlier in the year, didn't get past the quarter-finals. I don't think he slipped the wrong way, certainly in terms of any ambition. The fighter who runs a fencing and tree surgery business. Yeah, he's frustrated himself now, Askin.
Yeah, but he's just been, you know, halfway through the previous round, you can see him becoming a little bit frustrated. He's not finding the target cleanly. He probably feels he's doing the right things, and he probably is. But when the other fellow is thinking more about defence than attack, not taking chances, and it's difficult to get your punches home cleanly. See, this just turning into a little bit of a mess at the moment.
Looking for the uppercut again, Askin, and you heard John Anthony's corner in between the rounds saying, you know, the referee's going to stop it unless you do something. But I guess it's up to Askin to force and flow with the punches. Anything that lands, maybe give the referee an option. There's a right back from Anthony. And Askin responds.
Nah, that's just silly from Askin. It's as though he's annoyed because he's taken one punch. You can get your concentration right, do the job properly. This is just nonsense. I mean, he's had 4 rounds to look good. This is just nonsense. Yeah, the referee wants to tidy this up. I mean, that was all down to the fact that he took one decent punch from Anthony. Is he not entitled to take a punch here and there?
Jim, there's a lot of chit-chat going on in that ring. Again from John Anthony. Yeah, Steve Gray, the referee, really should take them both up on this. And naughtiness and nastiness at the bell as well. Crowd don't mind it, but pretty poor that.
When you start fucking talking, go and hit him. Get your breath. All right, come on.
Well, not really in the Marquis of Queensberry rules, but I guess it's sort of brought a little bit of needle into what's a fairly dull fight, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, it's never caught fire. I think we've got a clash of styles here. We have Matty Askin, who wants to look good but can't quite manage it, and John Anthony, who's probably just here to earn his wages and hasn't brought an awful lot of ambition with him. So Askin just has to keep a cool head, get this one behind him, get another win on his card, and worry about looking good next time. I don't think he's going to look good in this one tonight, so just have to settle down to that and do the best he can.
Seconds out, round 5.
Here's the 5th round. Styles haven't gelled. Matty Askin hasn't looked as hot as he has done in previous fights, but still, he's winning, and winning well, against Doncaster's John Anthony, who's been in with the likes of Dave Ferguson at heavyweight and John Lewis Dickinson, Kelly Oliver, Tony Salam, plenty of fairly decent fighters. Askin another.
Well, he's coming forward now, which Askin should be licking his lips, because now he can catch him as he comes forward. He's been backing off and spoiling a little bit up to now. So now that Anthony's coming forward, you would think maybe a couple of opportunities for Askin to land something decent, something impressive.
He knocked out Londoner Bobby Scott in just 49 seconds in November last year, Matty Askin. He's very keen to move his career forward at full thrust. Wants some sort of title shot in 2011. Plenty to learn, though, isn't there?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is shaping up like a victory for him, but maybe one that he'll just want to put behind him and carry on with his career. He hasn't been given the opportunity too often to look good tonight. But at the moment, a little bit more ambition from Anthony. So maybe now Askin can let some punches go and start looking the part.
Anthony was wound up by that kidology, and he doesn't take the glove there. from Matty Askin. He's not a happy man, Anthony. He did nothing for 3 rounds, then got angry in the 4th.
Another nice uppercut there from Askin. Just we haven't seen too many punches that we're going to remember at the end of this one, but the uppercut has worked several times for him.
That's better behind the jab from Matty Askin. He's got the skills, the textbook boxing. Why not use it? I mean, do you credit Anthony for surviving this, or do you blame Askin for not doing this better?
Well, I don't know what the story is here. I don't know if Anthony's taken this one at short notice, if he's not in great shape. I mean, we expect more from him. We've seen that in the past. So I don't know the full story. But I think Askin just has to keep a cool head. If he starts losing his cool, becoming frustrated, it just becomes a bigger mess. It looked like going the 6 rounds right from the off. So he's just going to have to settle down, maybe use his jab a bit more, use long punches, try to keep his distance. You give himself some working distance. As soon as he goes close, he's been spoiled.
Jimmy did 4 rounds with Martin Granger just a couple of weeks ago, John Anthony. So he's in fighting shape, all right. This doesn't look like he really wants to win it or has a plan to.
Get down, get down.
You're making hard work of it, says Pat Barrett in the corner.
Well, he has thrown 4 or 5 beautiful uppercuts tonight, which have landed cleanly. But Anthony is tough enough, he's taken them, and he hasn't given Askin the chance to follow them up. But you can see how wide the stats are. I mean, that is a little bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah, but of those 42 punches landed, as you said, we're not going to remember too many of them.
Now, apart from the uppercuts, which have been nice, but he hasn't been able to string anything together. It's all a little bit disjointed, single punches at
10
times.
seconds, corners.
So he'll be glad to see the end of this one, I think.
Seconds out, 6th and final round.
4th outing of the year for Matty Askin, and I think the one he'll probably want to forget to well, really not watch again on video or DVD, but maybe Brian Hughes, his trainer, will make him. It's all an education. It's only his 8th fight, and barring any disaster in the final round, he will beat John Anthony, and comfortably. But he hasn't shone, Askin. Again, just sort of out of range and getting annoyed with himself. We saw Tony Bellew, didn't we, last week? Getting more and more frustrated with an awkward opponent. Do you just put that down to one of those things?
Yeah, you just have to get it behind you. But if what you're doing is not working, then you have to try and think up something else. You mentioned Tony Bellew last week. Well, he didn't do that. He kept trying the same things. And this fight tonight has fallen just a little bit of a rut.
What if John Anthony will try and give it a bit of a go in these last couple of minutes? Just for a sort of machismo or pride note. Whether he'll be happy just to hear the final bell. Askin just hasn't flowed, no real rhythm. Got the jab, got the right hand, got the uppercut. Like that was better. Beautiful shot from Matty Askin, and that did hurt Anthony, who's backed up in Askin's corner. And can he force something, well, spectacular in the 6th?
Yep, Anthony was stung by that shot. No lasting damage. His eyes are looking pretty clear now. But that was a lovely punch, a little bit of imagination, and again, it's the uppercut that's doing the trick for him.
Evidence that Matty Askin does have real ability. And a right hand just on the bridge of the nose, and Anthony does nod some sort of appreciation. His own corner just getting a little worried alongside us. Last 45 seconds, I don't think they would have wanted to see go another round or two, but he can survive, can't he?
Yeah, well, this had the look of a 6-rounder right from the off. They were almost there into the last half minute. Askin trying to finish on a little bit of a high, and he's just about managing that. The uppercuts again have been good.
reaching with that right hand. Desperate to stamp his authority late on. Make us remember the finish of this 6-rounder, rather than most of the lack of action that's gone before it.
I think there's been a lot of effort from Askin in the 6 rounds, but he just didn't get a chance to shine, but goes home with a victory, which is the main thing.
Matty Askin does make it 8 out of 8, but it's a forgettable one, to be honest. He's not happy about it. I don't think Brian Hughes and Mike Jackson and Pat Barrett will be either. It is job done, but it was not a good fight. See there a lack of ambition from John Anthony, only landing 8 punches in 6 rounds. Better from Askin, who threw and landed more, but one of those frustrating evenings. And he looks, well, as disappointed as I've seen a victor in a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of cruiserweight action, referee Steve Gray has scored the contest for Anthony 54 points, for Askin 60 points. Your winner, now undefeated in 8 professional contests, from Blackpool, Matty Askin. And your appreciation, please, for Doncaster's John Anthony.